Children, this is your English class. You all know we are going through tough times, and under these circumstances, we had to develop new ways of learning. We are trying our level best to help you, and I hope that this will going to help you up to some extent. We will start with the first chapter of your English textbook, lesson 1.1. This is a poem. But as you all know, first we do some warming up activity, then we'll start with the chapter. In the first activity, some pictures are given and they are in a form of proverb. You have to guess the proverb. Like there is a pen with arms, it's greater than the sword. So the proverb is the pen is mightier than the sword. And the second one is birds are flying and they are of same color. So the proverb is birds of a feather flock together. Like same feather flock together. And third is a time equals money and the fourth is cloud. You have to guess these two. Okay? This is the activity for you. That's the homework. And the second one is a poem kind of thing given. You have to underline rhyming words. Okay? Third leaf and the fourth one is a crossword. And some figure of speech are hidden in the grid horizontally, vertically, diagonally, and in reverse order. Trace them out with your pencil. Like one is done for you, the oxymoron one. Okay? Now we'll come to the next activity. In the next activity, match the column is given. Like column A and column B. You have to match them. In column A, number 1 is humanism. Humanism, the answer is E. A rationalistic outlook towards human rather than a divine or supernatural one. Second one is patriotism. Patriotism, Desh Bhakti. The answer will be C. Third, fourth, and fifth, you have to do it by yourself. Okay. In the second activity, there's a fill in the blanks given and some of the words written over there. Poems in English are of different types. Like it can be sonnet, it can be ballad, limerick, epic, all those things. I am giving you the answers of the fill in the blanks. You just write down. First one is epic, second ballad, third sonnet, fourth lyric, fifth free verse, sixth idyll, seventh elegy, eighth limerick, ninth humorous. And the explanations are given. So please go through and write down in your notebook. So this warming up activity finishes over here. We'll start with the poem. The name of the poem is Where the Mind is Without Fear. It's written by Ravindranath Tagore. Let me briefly explain you some facts about the poem and the poet. The poet is Ravindranath Tagore. He was born as a Rabindranath Thakur, as it called in Bengali. Okay. He has first written this poem in Bengali and he himself translated it in English. The poem is actually in the form of a prayer. Like the poet is praying to God. Like the poet wishes his country to get true freedom and he describes what the heaven of freedom is. Okay. First I'll read the poem, then I will explain you line by line. So I'll read the poem. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where the knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. Ravindranath Tagore. He begins by saying that the mind of his countrymen should be free from any fear and their heads should be held high in dignity. And in second line he says knowledge should be free and everyone should be allowed to acquire knowledge. And then he says people should be united and the world should not be broken up into small pieces. Fragments means pieces. Okay. There should be no division of people based on religion, caste, creed, color, race, on any other such prejudice. Not only in our country but in countries of the world as well. Then the poet says that he wants his country where the people speak the truth sincerely, with the words coming from the depth of their hearts. Like there, everyone should work hard to reach their goal. When he says tireless striving, means they are trying their level best to reach their goal, and they should continuously strive means trying towards perfection. He then again adds, he then compares logical thinking or reason to clear stream and old traditional rituals and custom that are harmful to the dreary desert sand of dead habits. Okay, like dead habits means the old custom which are not useful but we are still following, and dreary means dull and boring. Okay, and again in the last three line he is saying that the reasoning ability of people should not be lost or overshadowed by superstitions. Those are dead habits, beliefs, and prejudice. That is, his countrymen should be led by rational thinking and not by any old belief that are harmful. In the last ninth and 10th line, the poet adds that he wants the mind of his countrymen to be led forward by the Almighty, that is God, so that they broaden their outlook, their thoughts, and their action. He means that we should be generous in thought and open minded. In the last line, the poet addresses God as my father. Like he's praying and he's saying that he is his father, and asks him to awaken his country into a heaven of freedom where there is a total freedom of good thoughts, good word, and good action. This is explanation line by line. And now comes your activity, a workshop type of thing. First thing, you have to write a critical appreciation. I'm dictating you in the points format. You have to write in a paragraph format in your notebook. First thing, you have to write the title of the poem. You all know what is the title of the poem, then the poet, then the theme or the central idea. What is the theme and the central idea? I am dictating you. If you wish, you can write down in your notebook. This is a prayer to God. Tagore asked him to awaken his country into a heaven of freedom, where there is a total freedom of good thoughts, good words, and good action. This is the central idea, theme of the poem. Like central idea means like the poem is about. Okay, and now comes the scheme. What is the rhyme scheme? There's a no rhyme scheme in the poem. It's written in a free verse without any rhyme scheme. Okay, and figure of speech. Figure of speech, they are personifications. How personification? Because dead habit is compared here. Okay, and there alliteration also. And there is one more important figure of speech, that is apostrophe. He is addressing God. Okay, and what are the special features? Like the format of the feature, the technical thing, physical thing of the feature, like the type of poem and how many lines are there. This poem is reflecting one. Okay, it conveys strong feeling for the process of the country and extremely patriotic poem. This is a special feature. And then comes the favorite line. You have to write the favorite line as you wish, you choose. This is the critical appreciation of the poem. Okay, that's the critical appreciation of the poem. I just dictated the points. You have to write down all this in your notebook. And now comes the other activities. As you can see on the screen, this activity you have to do in your notebook. And this is the second page of your activity. You have to complete it and write it down in your notebook. Okay, I expect that you complete your homework, and for any doubts revert me back. By this we'll complete the first chapter of your textbook, and please complete your homework. And for any doubts, please revert back. Thanks. Thank you all.